live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And so this is kind of lots of logistics. So y'all forgive us if we struggle just a smidge. When you come on, please tell us hello, how you're doing, where you're from, all the things. We are so excited to be making a centerpiece today. Now we are going to use non-traditional Christmas colors, but it is going to be Christmas themed. And what I mean by that is I'm going to use some fun ribbon that we have. We actually only have one roll of the turquoise colored ribbon that has the nutcrackers on it. We have one roll left on our site, but I thought we would use this nutcracker ribbon, and then we are going to use some of our metallic polka dots, and so we have several rolls of this left. But so this was where my choice of colors came from when making this centerpiece. Victoria, do you remember the lady who asked if we would make a centerpiece? So one of our followers over on Facebook asked if we would make a Christmas centerpiece. And it is so her centerpiece, she's going to do an artificial blooms, but she kind of wants a tutorial on how to make a centerpiece. So I chose a container that is a little different. This is actually a plastic compote container. I ordered it from Direct Floral. You have her name?
Miss Robin Giles Clemens.
Miss Robin asked that we make a centerpiece. So Miss Robin, this video is for you, my friend. I'm using a plastic compote container. I'm actually going to use these containers next weekend for a wedding. And so I'm going to paint them gold for that wedding. I didn't have any gold spray paint in today to paint it gold, but I am going to use lots of gold accents, so it's just an ivory color today. But they do paint beautifully. Just go to your local hardware store, pick up some gold metallic paint, and pop these with paint. Now let them dry really well, and then coat them with some clear poly or a clear coat. You can also buy that at the I buy mine at Lowe's, and that way your paint won't scratch off this container. I'm starting with a little bit of fresh floral foam, and I'm going to trim my foam down. And then we've got lots of beautiful blooms that we're going to use today. So let's go ahead and prep our container. So I have some waterproof tape. This is just it's just green waterproof tape. We use this when we tape down our fresh floral foam. I'm going to take my floral knife and I'm going to cut about an inch or so, maybe an inch and a half off that foam. I'm just going to toss that. You can trim up this foam, so don't feel like it has to be the same. It trims up really easily. Now, always remember when working with fresh floral foam, you are going to soak it before you get started, okay? And if you're delivering this arrangement, be sure to deliver it with a note saying to add water to this container, because a lot of times when flowers are delivered in a container where you do not see the water line, people forget to water them. So it's very important that you remind people that they get thirsty, okay? So if you receive a centerpiece of sorts from someone as a lovely gift, please remember to add water. I would probably add water daily. The reservoir usually doesn't hold quite as much water as like a great size vase, a nice size vase. So be sure to add water to that reservoir daily, okay? So I've taped my floral foam into place. It's not going to go anywhere. So when our driver, Jason, when he takes this arrangement out, it's not going to fall apart. It's always important to have really good mechanics. Next, we're going to start out with a little bit of Christmas greens. Now, Miss Robin said that her arrangement needed to go on a table that will seat 8 people. So that's going to be 3 on each side of the table and 1 on each end. So it's a very nice size table. I'm going to drop some of these things down in a drawer so I have a little more space. Now, anytime you're taking an order for a centerpiece, there are lots of questions you need to ask, okay? And so some of the questions include How big is your table? How many people are going to sit at your table? Is your table long? Is your table round? Because when you say how many people are sitting there, and if it's a long table, we need it to be long and low. If it's a round table and people are going to sit all the way around, you're wanting a round centerpiece. So it's always something really good to ask. Next, do you want candles or do you want just a pretty arrangement? Because some people do want candles. Here at our shop, we don't make a lot of centerpieces with candles, but some people want them. So always ask. I'm just taking this Christmas greens or evergreens, and I cut that stem at an angle. Set these blooms over here so you can see what I'm doing.
On Facebook, you have lots and lots of hellos.
Hello, my friends. Hello, hello. I'm so glad you're here with us. All right, let's see. Let me cut the band. I don't think, I've got some scissors. I don't have any snips, but I'm going to use some scissors to cut this Christmas greens with. All right, so I'm just going to take and cut these greens into smaller pieces.
Do you want me to grab the snips?
I think I'm fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to just take, and I cut these into smaller pieces, and I'm just going to press them right into that floral foam.
Cam says, I love that greenery.
Isn't this greenery beautiful, Cam? Okay, so anybody who knows, tell me what is the name of this greenery. Christmas greens are kind of like orchids for me. I never do know the names of all of the Christmas foliage or the winter green foliage. And a lot of it is because we don't grow these beautiful greens in Mississippi. Most of this foliage, all of this foliage came from our company that we order from, Budsy, and it's Florida grown evergreens.
On YouTube, Linda Sue says, good afternoon from Sherwood, Arkansas.
Hello, Linda Sue. Welcome, my friend. So glad you're here.
And Miss Bella says, just joined. What are you creating today?
So, Miss Bella, we're making a beautiful centerpiece. Miss Robin, is that right, Robin?
Yes, and Miss Robin actually also asked if this was for her.
Yay, Miss Robin, this is for you. Miss Robin asked that we make a long centerpiece for an 8-seater table. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to make a centerpiece for an 8-seater table. Now, always keep in mind when you're making a centerpiece, it doesn't always have to be a low flat container. Now, I always like low flat containers. I think they're easy to cover up, but it's not necessary that it's low and flat. If you have a pretty container, it's okay that it's a little bit taller. Now, you still want to be very careful and make sure that it's pretty low profile. You don't want it too tall. You want it to where it's very easy for people to sit at the table and see over it, okay? And I'll tell you the reason is because inevitably and it's often men, but it certainly could be ladies, if a man is uncomfortable with the height of an arrangement, he's going to pick that arrangement up, set it on the floor. And he's going to continue talking over the table. But if it's in their way, they're often going to put that somewhere else. And so you always want to make it where your table still has the flowers. So be sure not to get it too tall or in the way. So I'm just taking each of these little pieces of this greenery and I am just cutting them into small little pieces, stripping the foliage off the bottom and tucking that right in.
On YouTube, Miss Kim says, catching alive, woohoo.
Yay, Miss Kim, so glad you're here, friend.
She asks, is it cypress?
It may be cypress. I'm not sure. It smells beautiful.
A lot of folks have said cedar or green cedar.
Well, and it may be, now this looks nothing like the Mississippi cedar. Like our cedar grows pretty wild, and it doesn't have such pretty, it's not as pretty. I mean, it works, and I'm not ashamed to use it, but it's not nearly as pretty as this foliage. Okay, so I added the foliage. Now, you can see I gave us length on both sides. Oh, and I think Todd's wanting in. I think he might be outside. Okay. So it's got length on both ends. Now, this is how you're going to do a long, low arrangement. You want the sides to be a little more tighter in, and then you want the length to be long. So that's how you can make any arrangement, a long arrangement, is just extend the greenery on each side. Next, I'm going to come in with a little bit of holly. So you're going to laugh at me. I was out delivering flowers this morning, and one of the place where I delivered the flowers, her neighbor had cut all of his holly and had it on the side of the road for the city to pick up the brush. So I picked up his holly. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to have this holly. So I picked up a good bit of holly. So I'm again going to take it and I'm going to cut it into smaller pieces.
On YouTube, Miss Kathy says, I would never have gotten through my sister's wedding if it wasn't for you.
Oh, I'm so thankful. I'm so glad. So I just took this holly and I cut it into smaller pieces, and I'm just going to tuck it right in. Now remember, guys, you can always cut foliage out of your yard. So if you have anything that's pretty in your yard, please utilize that foliage. Because it's free, right? So go cut your greenery out of your yard. Knock on your neighbor's door. Ask him if you can have some greenery out of his yard. Or if you see somebody has cut their holly bushes, pick it up off the side of the road.
Miss Margaret Lynch says cedar grows very fast in Ireland.
Really? Yeah. Now our type, and I don't know what type it is. It grows. I mean, like it gets carried away here in Mississippi. But again, it's not a beautiful, a really pretty stuff.
They're all laughing. Allison says, crazy flower lady picking up a stranger's trash.
A stranger's
trolley.
trash. Some people's trash are another man's treasure, right, Victoria? Is that one of your favorite quotes, Owen?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. We've been asking Owen his favorite quotes. Okay, so I've got our greenery. Now I do have some pretty seeded eucalyptus that we're going to add in, but there is our base. So we used our evergreens and then our holly. Owen, you got some questions?
Well, there's a whole bunch of new people joining the live.
Yay! Hello, everybody over on YouTube. I know, that's TikTok.
About 100 folks on the live.
Wow, welcome, guys. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so here is our greenery. We are gonna, let me show you all the beautiful flowers and I just bumped the camera over, and I apologize.
That's all right. And they're wondering what you're making here.
So I'm making us a centerpiece for Christmas, but it's non-traditional. It's not a traditional centerpiece. Very non-traditional colors. We got in some of the most fun, beautiful roses this week.
Miss Gail Reed on TikTok followed us.
Well, hello, Miss Gail. Welcome. So glad you're here. So these are called Magic Time roses, and we got these from Budsy this week, and they are just so beautiful, y'all. Like, they're gorgeous. Like, they have kind of a speckled look to them. Really, really, really pretty roses.
Welcome all the new people. We're up to 350 now.
350 people on TikTok. Mm-hmm. Wow, welcome, guys. So glad you're here. Now, this is called a rose lily. Actually, I used these yesterday in some sympathy work. They're gorgeous lilies. They have multiple petals, and so it's almost a double lily. I thought this would be beautiful with the Magic Time roses, so we're going to use a stem of the rose lilies. We've also got in a really pretty peachy colored carnation. Now, I just thought this would just be an added touch of color down deep in this arrangement. Just a really pretty carn. I love carnations. Some white lysianthus. We got this white lizzie in for a wedding this weekend, and so I thought we're going to use some white lizzie just because it's my favorite. And I say that about every flower, so y'all forgive me when I say this is my favorite. It's my favorite today, okay? Because I have tons of favorites. We have white stock. So our white stock is going to give us some length in this arrangement. Very pretty, smells so lovely. And then what other flowers do we have here? White hydrangeas. So we're going to use our white hydrangea just kind of deep low in this centerpiece for some deep color, just a pretty white hydrangea. A little bit of seeded eucalyptus because it's just so pretty. So eucalyptus is one of my favorites. And then because we're adding gold with our ribbon, we are going to use some gold painted Israeli ruscus. So we get this from Budsy and it comes in pre-painted. So it's really a very fun greenery. And y'all, when it's painted like this, it will last for months and months. But just kind of a fun, very Christmassy, whimsical foliage.
A lot of people on Facebook are saying hello, Owen.
Hello. Hello.
Miss Martha wants to know if your holly has the sharp points.
Yes, Miss Martha, it bites. It does, it bites. All right, I'm going to start out with our Israeli ruscus. Now, Israeli ruscus comes in a pretty green color naturally. But over the last couple of seasons, for fall and for Christmas, we've ordered a case that has been tinted or painted. This is actually painted. For fall, we got lots of beautiful fall colors and oranges and gold, a golden yellow, and kind of a burgundy, a beautiful burgundy. And for the Christmas season, it's been more of a metallic. It's this beautiful metallic gold and white and a kind of a metallic red. Wouldn't you say, Victoria? The red's pretty too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have added my ruscus, and I'm going to kind of turn it up so you can see where I made lines with our ruscus. I almost used it like a line flower. So I put one on each end to give us some length, and then I put 4 in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, just kind of throughout this arrangement to pull that gold. And actually we can put 1 right in the center. So there's a total of 7 stems of that ruscus. Now, remember that you can take paint and paint your foliage. It is completely okay to take paint from the local hardware store and paint your foliage. It's not going to hurt your foliage, it won't damage it, and it makes that foliage really last a whole lot longer. So you can take it and paint any of the hardy foliages. Things that are really soft and delicate, I would not use that paint, but anything that's pretty hardy will hold paint well. Next, we're going to come in with our hydrangeas. Go ahead, Miss Victoria. Sorry, I interrupted.
No. On YouTube, Carrie Weaver says, wow, first time I ever timed this right to watch it live. Hello from Carrie from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
So glad you're here, Carrie. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so this is a beautiful white hydrangea. Hydrangeas are delicate and they are thirsty. So if you think you're going to send this arrangement to someone that may not water it, I would suggest not using hydrangeas. They are very, very thirsty flowers. And so it's one of those things that I would kind of make that choice. If it's going to go to someone, like my mama is going to very much take care of her arrangement. She's going to water it every day. She's going to check it, all the things. Me, on the other hand, I may not water this thing. And so a hydrangea isn't going to last as long. But just kind of keep that in mind when using hydrangeas. They're just thirsty. I'm going to take my, I did remove off the foliage, and I'm going to take my floral knife and I'm going to cut that hydrangea at an angle, and I am going to nestle him right down into this floral foam. Just push him right down deep into that floral foam, and he's just tucked right there in the front. Yes, ma'am.
I have a few questions.
Yes, please.
On YouTube, T asks, what is on the ceiling that you keep looking up at?
So this is a camera. I just stuck my finger right up in there. That is a camera for TikTok. So sorry.
They don't see the camera.
They don't see the camera, so they just see me looking up at it.
Yeah.
I bet y'all thought, what in the world? She's lost her mind. So there is a camera above my head, and that camera is the view for TikTok. So we've got 3 different platforms running right now on a live. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So that's kind of exciting. It's our first time to ever do that. Again, I'm going to take my knife, cut that stem at an angle, and I'm going to nestle him in. Yes, ma'am, Victoria.
Miss Vicky Adkins asks if you've ever heard of putting mayo on poinsettia leaves and then sprinkle them with glitter. She says she's heard it's beautiful.
Wow, now I have not. I didn't know that. I have been to like the grocery store and seen glittered poinsettias, but I've never done it myself. Interesting, but I guess the oil in the mayonnaise would keep that glitter on and it wouldn't make them sticky necessarily. So I'm removing all of the foliage there, and let me tell you why. A hydrangea, when it goes to drink that water, it goes up that stem, right? And the first thing it comes to is that foliage. So the first thing it gives water to is the foliage. So if you remove that foliage, the water goes directly to the head. It doesn't have to stop anywhere to hydrate any other foliage. So that's the reason we pull that foliage off. I cut that stem at an angle with my floral knife, and I just push that right down into my foam.
Miss Robin says, thank you for your help with this today. I had second eye surgery on November 30th
Robin,
and have basically been in bed sick ever since, so I was totally blank on ideas for this.
I am so sorry about that. Okay, so I added those 3 stems of hydrangeas, just 1, 2, 3, into that arrangement. They're just right there in the center of that arrangement. Okay, next we're going to come in with some stock. This stock is going to give us some length in this arrangement, okay? I'm going to remove any of the foliage that might get in the way of me inserting it into the foam, but if the foliage still looks pretty, leave it on. Don't feel like it's in the way. Yes, Owen?
Got a few new followers on TikTok.
Yay, guys, welcome. So glad you're here. So I'm going to take that stem of stock and I'm going to put it long. You see how it's coming out long here? And I am going to mirror that and do the exact same thing on the other side.
Chris wants to know why you're not dipping the hydrangeas.
Well, because I don't happen to have the dip in here with me. It's over there. Thanks, Victoria. I didn't know I had any dip in here with me, so that's the only reason. So very often you have seen me when designing, I like to dip my hydrangeas in Quick Dip, okay? Quick Dip is a hydrating solution that just helps those hydrangeas stay hydrated. And so often you see me dip that hydrangea stem into the Quick Dip. Okay, so I kind of mirrored it, one on one side, one on the other, just like that. Next we're going to come in with another stem of stock, cut that stem at an angle with my floral knife, and nestle him right down in to that foam.
Mary Lou just said it was. I didn't realize I had talked to Miss Mary Lou last week on the phone. She said I did a great job. So
Why, thank you, Miss Mary Lou. Thank you,
I
thank
appreciate
you. Good job, Owen.
Miss Rebecca Youngblood says, I have cleaned plant leaves with mayo.
Oh yeah, I bet that works. It's kind of that oil, right? Yeah, that's such a good idea. Okay, there's our stock. So I just kind of went all the way through with our stock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stems of stock. And it's pretty on both sides. Now remember, you don't have to have all these same flowers. You can have different flowers. It's completely okay to mix and match your flowers. This is just kind of an idea of where they should be placed in the arrangement, okay? Next we're going to come in with our carnations. So we're going to use them at just kind of deep down into this arrangement. So I'm going to show you a trick, and I think I showed this to you yesterday if you were on the live. So I'm going to take this carnation and I'm putting it between my thumb and my forefinger, just kind of, they're ringed around it. I'm just holding that little head very softly, and I am just going to fluff this carnation. Now remember, please do not do this to any other flower, only to a carnation. Don't try to fluff a lily. Don't try to fluff anything else. If you hold it down here on its stem and start to rub that carnation, you're very easily going to pop his little head off. So that's the reason I just rest him right in my fingers and I fluff him, okay? I'm going to take my floral knife. I'm going to cut that stem pretty short, and I'm just going to nestle him deep so that he'll give me some pretty color right down into this arrangement. Now, carnations are an inexpensive flower, but a very pretty flower. And so I like the fact that a carnation is going to give us some color deep in an arrangement. And this peach was just so soft and pretty. Very long lasting flowers too, y'all. I mean, like, they last forever.
Miss Marianne asks, would the mayo eventually start to smell?
That's what I worry. I'm not sure. I have never used it before. I mean, on plants or anything of the sort. And would bugs be attracted to it at all, I wonder?
Oh, Miss Mary Lou says she called about the Santa for a senior. You answered the phone and then you put your mom on.
I remember. Yes, I do recall.
And then she also asks, how is the Santa for a senior
It's
going?
doing well. We have to take a final count. We were going to do that in the morning and see where we are. But we are pretty close. I mean, we should be right there. Okay, so I ran our carnations right down the center. It's almost a line of carnations, but you can kind of see how they're just run right down the center. I got this guy sticking out a little bit, so I'm going to adjust him just a little. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty already, right? Okay, next we're going to come in with our Magic Time roses. So y'all, these are gorgeous. They have, it's kind of a hot pink, and they have just little speckles just all over, just beautiful little speckles. Just such a bold, pretty rose. Just a pretty, pretty rose. I'm going to take my floral knife. Now, you can absolutely wire your roses if you want to. You'll find that very often I wire my roses, especially if I leave them long. Now, when I cut them off really short and nestle them into an arrangement like this, I don't always wire them because their stems are, did we go dark? Their stems are really short, so they don't have a whole lot of stem that they have to drink. And so that's the reason I don't necessarily wire all these roses. Now, all the flowers you see me working with came from a company called Budsy, and I buy probably, 95% of the flowers that we use here at our shop come from Budsy. And these happen to be, these Magic Time roses happen to have come from there. And they're beautiful, y'all. Got that one a little shorter than I
Rebecca
prefer.
says, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
She says, mayonnaise does not smell and I did not have a problem with bugs.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rebecca.
Oh, Miss Nancy asked how long Owen and I have been dating. We've been dating.
That's all right. Why are you asking me, Victoria?
Sorry.
Answer that question.
Me and Owen have been dating, I think it's about 2.5 years now. So, a little bit.
Oh, just a little bit of time, huh?
Carl and Ollie and Howard say, Monty, you and Victoria make us feel like family. We love all the new
Aww.
arrangements. God bless and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, sweet friend. Thank you.
Lori Burns asks, what do you dip your hydrangeas in to keep them alive longer?
Okay, so it's called Quick Dip. It's just a hydrating solution that I purchased from the floral wholesaler. So I just ran, just like the carnations, I just tucked those roses right down into that arrangement. And I'm spilling some water, but I kind of wanted you to see that they're just all the way through that arrangement. It's called Quick Dip, and it's just a, I can put a link for you from my Amazon. It is just a solution that I put in a little cup, and after I cut my stem, I dip it in for about 7 seconds and then insert that right down into the foam. It just helps that water. It's almost like, you know how you can use a pickling allium? And alum will cause those flowers to, those pickles to firm up and crisp. It's the same thing with a hydrangea. So what I'm doing here is I cut the stem short and I just pulled the stamens out of these lilies. they open up and cause that pollen to get on. So I just go ahead and pull those out. And I just nestled that beautiful lily right down into that arrangement. But go ahead and pull these out, y'all. They get yellow on, well, when they open up, they shed pollen onto the lily. This will get on your clothes. It'll get on your hands. Now let me tell you the easiest trick to remove pollen from your clothes. So pollen tends to be a little oily. It's interesting. It's a very interesting substance, but it tends to be a little oily. And so if it gets on your clothes and you start to rub it and try to get that pollen out, you're just embedding it into your clothing. So instead of trying to wash that out, I just cut that stem off, and I'm going to tuck him right deep down into that foam. You're going to take that blouse and you're going to lay it in the sunshine. If it's on your pants, lay it in the sunshine. The sun will absorb that pollen. It is the coolest thing that I have ever seen in my whole life, but I promise it works. I did it with my white sweater that I wore yesterday. I had gotten pollen on it the last time I wore it, so I just laid it in the sunshine and it absorbed that pollen. The pollen went away.
Rhea Norman says, I was telling a lady today to remove the guard petals from the roses she bought. She had never heard of that. I told her Monty always does that.
Monty, she always does that. Isn't that funny? So I love Lizzianthus for the fact that Lizzianthus has lots of tiny little buds. Now this Lizzie isn't real open yet. We have left it, we cut it. And we've left it out so that the blooms will open. But look at all these little buds. They're just so sweet and so pretty. And so I love them. And so I like to use them in separate little insertions in my arrangement.
Elaine Murphy says, beautiful, love that dish. Wonder where you could buy it from in the UK.
Now these came, and you can look it up. This container I got 24 in a case, and it was from Direct Floral. I am not sure the company that made it, but I can go out and look on the case. But they did come from the company Direct Floral, and I'm not sure if they sell in the UK, but I bet the company that makes them might. So send me a message and I'll go take a picture of the case, and maybe you can talk to your wholesaler about it.
Glenn Beard says, our florist will take the carnation and pluck out some of the middle and make it look like it's another flower. They look beautiful.
Yes. And you can make it look like Lizzianthus. I mean, it looks like Lizzianthus. Yeah, you can make them look kind of like Lizzianthus by pulling that center out. You can also take white carnations and pull that center out and put a little blue thistle, and it almost looks a little like an anemone. Kind of fun.
A few people have been wondering what this is for.
This is just because Miss Robin needed a centerpiece, and so I had all of these beautiful blooms, and I thought, you know what? We'll use some of these beautiful pink flowers, and we can help Miss Robin see what a long, low centerpiece would look like. All right, so there's our Lizzianthus, and you see how it kind of gives all of these little whimsical buds are sticking out and giving us lots of movement in this arrangement. It makes me so happy, all that little movement. Next, what I'm going to do before I add my pretty ribbon is I'm going to add just a touch of eucalyptus. So I'm going to take my this is seeded eucalyptus, and of course it has the seeds on it. I'm going to take my eucalyptus, and I am just going to come all the way around this container. Just going to break these little pieces off, and I'm just softening the edges of this container. I love the different textures and the different colors of the greenery, so that's why I like to use eucalyptus in with other types of foliage. It's just pretty.
They're loving the flowers, the colors.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. I don't know where Owen ran off to.
He may be reading the TikToks on the big computer. I mean, the TikTok comments on the big computer.
All right, so there's our eucalyptus. Now, here comes the fun part. We're going to add some ribbon. Miss Rhea will love it. Ribbon's her favorite. Miss Allison loves the ribbon too. Okay, so the ribbons we chose because, oh, I've got ornaments. I've got gold ornaments. So, yay. We'll tuck some of these in there too. Because why not? Let's put too much stuff in it. Okay, so the ribbons that I chose, we have, of course you've heard me talk about it before, but we have a Shopify website that we are selling lots of beautiful wired ribbons on. This ribbon is a 1.5 inch wired ribbon. It's a metallic polka dot and it's gold on gold. It's one of my favorites, quite honestly. I just love the shimmer, and it's such an easy ribbon to add with any other. I mean, it almost goes throughout the seasons. We used it in the fall with fall ribbons. We've used it at Christmas with Christmas ribbons. I think you could probably even use it in the spring if you have a touch of gold in the main ribbon. So we have this ribbon, and then this has been one of our biggest sellers. This is the Nutcracker ribbon. This was in a turquoise. We actually have one roll of this Nutcracker ribbon left, and it has pinks and turquoise and golds. Just a fun, very whimsical ribbon. So now I'm going to show you, I'm not going to put lots and tons of ribbon. I'm only going to put several loops. So with the gold, I'm going to take the gold. I like to hold the print. So there's a front side and a back side. So I'm holding the print toward me, and I'm going to make a loop, and I'm catching it with my forefinger and my thumb. I'm going to make a twist and a loop and a twist. So I'm just going to do 2 loops with this bow. I'm going to take my scissors and cut that at an angle. And then I'm going to take a little piece of wire, and I am going to tie that little bow off, okay? So there's a little bow. And now I'm going to do the same with my nutcrackers. Now, often you see me go ahead and layer it, but sometimes it's easier to tie the first bow, tie the second bow, and then put them together. So that's what we're going to do today. So this nutcracker, it has a right side up and an upside down. And so that's one of my little pet peeves. It's hard when he's upside down. So I'm just going to take a tiny piece. I'm not going to make his tail. I'm going to take a tiny piece, gather it, twist, gather, twist, and then we're going to make a tail. I'm going to go ahead and cut him, and then we'll make a second tail on the other side so that he's right side up on both sides.
Miss Donna Simmons says, I love ornaments and florals. It makes me happy.
Doesn't it make you happy? It makes me happy too. I'm so glad it makes other people happy. All right, so I'm just taking the wire that was that tied the little gold ribbon, and I am tying the 2 bows together, just like that. Okay, now instead of using a wood pick, I'm just going to take one of the stems that came off one of the flowers, and I am going to just twist my wire around that stem. Now, if you have a skewer, you can certainly use a skewer. If you have a wood pick, you can use a wood pick. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to tuck that bow right down into my arrangement. Now, if you are not a bow person, it is okay. You do not have to use ribbon. I just think ribbon makes things kind of look whimsical and fun, but look at how cute that little touch of ribbon is in that arrangement. So there's that little touch of ribbon in that arrangement.
Miss Marianne asks, will you try to sell or be able to repurpose the flowers? So kind of you to do this demonstration.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. We will put this in the front cooler, and if it doesn't sell in a day or so, it's going out to Mama's house. Mama is my biggest fan, and if it doesn't go to Mama's house, it would go to Victoria's house because her mama loves flowers too. So I'm so thankful Victoria has a mama that loves flowers as much as she and I do. Or Mimi, we sent flowers to Mimi this week. So Victoria's sweet little grandmama cheers us on, and so we've taken, it's nice to be able to take flowers to people who really enjoy them. So I'm going to make one more bow, but you saw that I didn't wire that one first. And I'm going to take a piece of wire. I just kind of layered it. Now we also have here at our shop, we have a wonderful wooden bow maker that you can make a bow very easily with a bow maker. And so if it's hard for you to grip that ribbon and all the things, you can certainly use a bow maker. I'm just about finished. I'm wrapping up as we speak. I'm going to tuck this one on the opposite side. So this color is all the way through this arrangement. I love the nutcrackers.
Yeah, they're loving.
They are so fun. So look how fun that is. Okay, next, what I did was, these are traditional plastic ornaments from, I don't even know, we've had them in a bucket. We always buy lots of ornaments at the end of the season, and we drop them in a bucket, so we're able to tuck them into arrangements. This is just a skewer, a wooden bamboo skewer that you use when grilling. I took it, I popped off the top, and I glued this skewer in. So all you're going to do is take those ornaments, push them right into this arrangement. Now what this is going to do, this little skewer keeps those arrangements from rolling away. There's nothing worse than rolling away ornaments. And so I'm just taking those skewers and just popping that.
Miss Deborah Simmons sent 100 stars.
Oh, Miss Deborah, thank you so much for the stars. Thank you, thank you. Well, all right, here is the arrangement. So the flowers that I used include the Magic Time roses, which are the standard hot pink roses. We used a peach colored carnation. He's a little harder to see. He's kind of deep down in there, but he's that pretty little peach colored carnation. I used white hydrangeas, white stock, white lysianthus, which is all these sweet little buds and these white blooms. We used that, and that's just one stem of that double lily or that rose lily. And then our greenery includes, I think this is a type of cedar. It includes our painted Israeli ruscus and a little bit of holly that I found on the side of the road that they were going to throw away, and some seeded eucalyptus. See how beautiful an arrangement can be? And it's not really hard. You're just going to try to get your flowers to go all the way through that arrangement. Any questions, Miss Victoria?
I don't see any more. You have a lot. Everyone's saying it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank y'all so much for being with us this afternoon. Thank you over on TikTok. We're so glad you're here, friends. And we're going to try to do this more often. We are going to try to invite you all back and do more lives on TikTok. So thanks for being here, guys. If you have any questions about how we do these things, please, you know you can always ask. You can drop it right here in the comments, send us a message over on Messenger, or you can email us at Yahoo, flowersbythebunch@yahoo. If you are on Facebook, do me a great big favor and sprinkle this video. If you, what else am I trying to say? If you have not already followed us over on TikTok or on YouTube, please do that. We'd love to have you join us there. If you guys on YouTube have not checked us out on Facebook, we do lives just like this every single afternoon here on Facebook. Do me a great big favor on TikTok, like this video, subscribe to our channel. Guys, thank you.